Did you know that our planet went through many changes before it became the Earth we know today? Today, the Earth is still the only celestial body where life is reliably known to exist. So what created everything we know today on our planet? Find out now! Way back in the distant past, when our world was nary a twinkle in the eye of the universe, an unbelievably huge explosion happened. Inexplicably, all of the matter in the universe shot out in a whirling, twirling chaos of energy and excitement. This tremendous event, known as the Big Bang, happened about 13.8 billion years ago and kicked off events that would eventually make Earth as we know it today. In the following years, many tumultuous events set the stage for Earth's formation. Planetesimals, small fragments of rocks, collided and began to fuse together in the vast emptiness of space. The pressure, heat and particles pounding against the primordial Earth caused the melting of iron, which when heavier sank into the planet's core, while the outer crust cooled and the continents appeared. Earth emerged from this chaos of cosmic activity 4.6 billion years ago and became the largest inner planet in the solar system. The foundation of Earth's surface allowed for the emergence of the first forms of life, and the rest is history, but let's continue our path through the history of our universe. Long ago, the stars shone brightly in the night sky, but there was no sign of the bursting Earth we now know. Just the rising stars, the Sun, surrounded by stellar dust. But gravity had its way, and the dust came together. It got bigger and bigger, until finally the planets formed, including our Earth. About 4.5 billion years ago, things looked a little different. The Earth was scorching hot and with temperatures above 1200 Celsius degrees. It was not a great place for life to exist. No oxygen, only sick, carbon dioxide, nitrogen and water vapor filled the atmosphere. Kind of like what a giant ball of lava would like if it were cooling off. Then a young planet, Theia, approached about the same size as Mars, but buzzing by at 15 km per second, twice the speed a bullet would travel. There was an unlikely collision, sending millions of tons of debris into space. And then, by the power of gravity, these pieces were whirled around together until the Moon was formed. A 3,500 km diameter rock orbiting our planet, and much closer at that time than it is today. This powerful and destructive act by Theia is responsible for the formation of our Earth and Moon, and let us all alive and breathe in the world as we know and love it today. Once upon a time, a giant shower of meteorites cascaded down from the heavens, unleashing the remains of a crafty solar system. Among them were tiny crystals with a cube-like structure that was similar to our beloved salt shaker, but with tiny droplets of water inside. This shower went on for centuries, providing enough time for pools of water to appear on solid ground. The core of the Earth was still molten at this time, but the surface was cooled enough to form a crust, making the planet look similar to the one we know today. Unfortunately, the planet spun away too fast to be considered calm and peaceful, creating a tumultuous megastorm. Coupled with the Moon's close proximity, this led to the appearance of colossal tides that went all over the planet. Finally, after 3.8 billion years, the planet's surface was covered with water and small islands, were formed by molten rock that had broke through the crust and cooled. This island then eventually became the first continent. Despite now having an atmosphere, life still hadn't made an appearance since the atmosphere was toxic and temperatures were very high. However, this would change when meteorites kept raining down, bringing more elements into the Earth and dissolving them in the oceans. This process, together with chemical and mineral elements from the meteorites, changed the composition of the waters of the oceans, creating a chemical soup. We don't know how or when these chemicals combine to bring life and fill the waters with microscopic organisms. But we do know that the first inhabitants of this planet were single-celled bacteria that lasted for hundreds of millions of years. Yeah, I know, we are the descendants of bacteria. Unbelievable, isn't it? After several glaciations, the period of multicellular life on Earth began. Thus began an evolutionary process of animals and plants of which we have little data, because the first forms of life were microscopic and then soft animals and plants, algae, worms, that leave no fossil remains. However, we know a certain era of the planet thanks to findings and evidence. From here, biologists divide time into eras. It was a time when trilobites, mollusks and crustaceans went wild and the waters were alive with them. Echinoderms and brachiopods sprouted up and fish of all kinds began to swim around. Then came the mysterious and mythical Silurian period, where giant armored fish, the first land plants and giant marine scorpions suddenly appeared. In the Devonian period, 410 million years ago, modern fish and amphibians began to appear and the first land plants evolved. Next up was the Carboniferous period, 360 million years ago, where amphibians went crazy, reptiles started to surface, and the planet was filled with an abundance of mosses and ferns. The Permian period, 285 million years ago, marked the spread of reptiles, with amphibians taking a bit of a backseat, trilobites becoming extinct, and the first conifers appearing. But wait, what is it? Enter the supercontinent of Pangaea, a massive landmass shaped like the letter C, of which all of today's continents were once a part of. It was surrounded by a single sea, called Panthalassa, and had another smaller sea in its concave part, the Sea of Tethys. Unfortunately, the area was so dry that it was in essence of a giant desert, but with the movement of tectonic plates driven by the flow of the Earth's mantle. The continents moved and shaped, creating the supercontinent of today. Finally, in a land far, far away, well actually it was 65 million years ago, it was a time of great change across our beloved planet. The Paleocene was the start of it all, when mammals emerged in abundance. Then, in the Ocean, 60 million years ago, when by and some of the most iconic creatures emerged. Horses, elephants, and plants arose from the depths of time. The continents started taking their definitive shape. Europe split from Greenland and North America, forming the Norwegian Sea. The Indian and Atlantic Oceans kept growing ever larger as Australia moved northwards, from Antarctica, who remained as majestic as ever in her icy palace at the South Pole. The Oligocene epoch was the next step, as 35 million years ago, flowers bloomed and many of today's mammals took shape, including a special group of creatures known as primates. Then 25 million years ago, the Miocene saw an abundance of primates, especially in Africa. India reached out and collided with Asia, creating the land of the Himalayas. The continents became what we know today, and so we can all say that we live in the epoch of Pangaea's final goodbye. So there you have it. From Big Bangs to primordial soup to Pangaeas, our planet has undergone monumental changes to get to the planet we know and love today. And although it's hard to imagine, this transformation has been going on for millions and billions of years, and will likely continue for millions and billions more. So the next time you find yourself gazing up at the night sky, remember that the Earth has been evolving and changing since the beginning of time. And who knows what exciting changes the future will bring. Thanks for sharing this adventure. See you next Friday for another trip. Bye bye.